Welcome to CalTV News. My name is Tomas Manglona with the News Department. I'm sitting here today with ASUC Senator Nuha Khalfay, who recently took to social media to express her concerns about an iteration of Trump's travel ban, which was just released recently. Thank you, Senator, for joining CalTV today. For the viewers who might not be aware of what you expressed, do you mind giving us a brief overview of your post and what your concerns are with this new travel ban or the iteration of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple weeks ago, the newest iteration of the travel ban came out. It's being called Travel Ban 3.0, and the list of countries was expanded. The visa restrictions were expanded. Some of the details were changed around. And I think a lot of my concerns with the newest iteration of the travel ban are really similar to some of the same concerns I had with the original iteration of the travel ban. Just around who's being banned, what are the reasons for these folks being banned. A lot of the reasoning seems to be based on the countries that folks are coming from, and I think that having a blanket ban on folks from certain countries is really concerning, especially, I mean, there's no need for an especially, like, there, from certain countries it is really concerning, especially given that we have with a couple of countries on the list, refugees coming out of those spaces, people who may need access to healthcare, so many different reasons, right?
Right, and so you mentioned in your post specifically quoting from that, some people are trying to escape from difficult conditions in their countries, and for people trying to visit family back home. And so we know that this is affecting some students. You may be more aware of, you know, a good number of students here at Cal and their families and their places of origins. Recently you held a campaign on Sproul, a photo campaign. Do you mind explaining why you decided to hold that campaign and what that campaign was about?
Yeah, absolutely. So the photo campaign was called What Would You Rather Ban? A Photo Campaign. That was the Facebook event title. And what we really asked people to do was take a photo with a whiteboard, you know, usual photo campaign technique, kind of just telling us what they would ban rather than people. Because at the very basis of a travel ban, you're banning people from coming into a country. And we got a lot of really funny answers, we got a lot of really serious answers. Some folks talked about banning guns. I'm really interested in healthcare, so mine was banning for-profit insurance companies. We had funny ones like banning 8 a.m.s, banning socks and sandals being worn together. So it was a really interesting mix of answers that we got, but I think that the sentiment behind the project, which was spearheaded by the MEMSA department within my office. MEMSA is the coalition of Middle Eastern, Muslim, Sikh, and South Asian organizations on campus. I think the idea behind it was really, we can't necessarily do anything to stop this newest iteration of the travel ban from happening, but reminding people that, first of all, this is something that's happening, because a lot of times what happens is when the original travel ban came out in January, it was a really big deal and a lot of people were up in arms about it. And then things quieted down and the second version of the travel ban came out. And there was still a little bit of outrage, and now we have a third edition of the travel ban. And I think that we really need to make sure that we don't normalize what's happening, and having events like this, just raising awareness that there's a third version of the travel ban that's come out now that might not be the hottest piece of news, so it's not on the news cycle for as long or as prominently. I think that's also really important.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, in fact, the Supreme Court in the next week or two, I believe, is going to hear the case on the legality of the first travel ban. And so whatever is being called into question for the second and third one, that has not cut up yet, and that's what you were mentioning about the news cycle and just trying to maintain this awareness about the event.
Yeah.
I want to mention also as well in this iteration of what many are calling the Travel Ban 3.0, it now includes North Korea and Venezuela. And for some parts of the new places that are included is specific to government officials. I want to ask you in particular about this language. President Trump and the administration has said that this is all about America first and America's safety first. When you hear this type of language coming from the administration, what are your thoughts? What are your comments on that?
I mean, full transparency, I personally wasn't aware that the newest countries were, did you say it's limited only to government officials?
In a recent report by CBS, SF Bay Area, they were mentioning how in one country, I believe it was Venezuela, we can correct that if that's not the case, but it was specific to government officials, but nonetheless, people from that country as well. Like you said, it was a blanket ban. And so in discussing that, this language of America first, America's safety first, when you hear this, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, everybody wants to be safe in the place that they live in, right? And I'm on board with the idea that we want America to be safe. I wonder if the best way to do that is a travel ban. I wonder if the greatest threats to our safety are coming from these countries. We just had a mass shooting in Las Vegas. To the best of my understanding, the perpetrator of that attack was not an immigrant, was not from any of these countries. So do we need America to be safe? Absolutely, that's super important. Is a travel ban the way to do it? I don't think so.
Right. And so moving forward, you hosted this campaign on Sproul, and you took to social media airing your concerns. What are the steps that your office is looking into, and MEMSA, the department under your office, going forward? What are some of the steps you guys are hoping to take?
Absolutely. So my jurisdiction, my limit of power is to campus. So just really making sure that students who are affected by this ban, students whose families are affected by this ban, have all the resources going forward so that they can make informed decisions. I know last year when the first iteration of the travel ban came out, a lot of people were really afraid to even travel abroad for spring break, especially international students. So making sure that folks have the information they need to make informed decisions, I think, is a really huge priority.
Right. Is there anything else you'd like to add regarding these past events or the Travel Ban 3.0?
I think we covered a lot of it. Thank you so much for having me. It was great talking with you.
Right. Thank you, Senator Nuha Khalfay. And thank you for tuning in to CalTV. We'll have this and more in the coming weeks.